What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I am Alex, and I am joined by a very, very special guest. Degenerate Jay is here to talk to me, or talk with me. I guess he can talk to me, but he can also talk with me about Gotham Knights. I promised we would do some different things for this Gotham Knights coverage the last month here leading into the game, and I thought, what better way? And I actually did plan this, Jay, all the way back before I even talked to you about it. I thought, well, I want to do these special things kind of leading up to the game, do different kinds of videos, and one of the series is a more, interview-like thing and talking with other people. Now, the Gotham Knights community is a little fractured, so Jay, maybe a couple others I can get. I don't know how many others I'll be able to get on the channel, but we're here to just kind of talk about our opinions of the game. We're 1 month away. I'll be doing like a final preview, like my final thoughts, maybe like a week or two before the game comes out, like I do for all the game, pretty much any game that releases on the face of the earth. But I wanted Jay here today too to kind of just, this last month, maybe what they need to show, all that stuff. So before I ramble too long, make sure you're all subscribed to Jay. His channel will be in the description below. If you guys click the link, you'll be taken there. Jay, thank you for being here.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I will say I'm a little disappointed you did not give me the option to talk at you, because I feel like that's usually what I do. When you give me an inch, I take a mile. I'll talk at you for 5 minutes. So we'll have to see what category we fall under today.
We go back and forth. So, well, let me get your opinions, man, because it's been, you've covered this game quite a bit, and you've covered DC quite a bit. You're not, I don't think you would want to be called a Gotham Knights or DC channel, but you do kind of specialize in it in a way. So I've said before, like I'll give my quick pitch meeting, and then you can go. My opinions of this game as of right now really haven't changed much from the very beginning, in that I actually, and maybe they've actually improved. I think this will be an above average game that's nothing too special. I don't think this is going to reinvent the wheel in any way, much like some of the Arkham games did. So it would be different than that. But I do think it'll be solid. I think this is a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 kind of game, right? From when people get their hands on it and they review it. That's just kind of from visuals to gameplay. I think a lot of the things in this game are going to turn out to be solid. I like to use that word a lot, but I wonder if we'll see that word where it's it's good, it's fine. Maybe some things are bad, maybe some things are great, but I don't think it'll swing too far into this is game of the year, this reinvents the superhero genre, but I also don't think it swings to this is garbage, this is pathetic, killing Batman was the worst decision and made this game like a 1 out of 10. I don't think it's going to swing that far, and even beyond that, I think things maybe like the story could be a surprise hit. The gameplay could really go either way, but I do think the story could maybe be something surprising, and maybe the character arcs, the villains. I think we could get, those are my thoughts on what could be surprisingly good, and then surprisingly bad, maybe gameplay, maybe lack of things to do, maybe too repetitive, things like that. But I'm feeling and it's not riding a wave, my opinion really, I have had different opinions, but it hasn't changed too much. I feel good about it. I just don't feel incredible, and it's funny, when Reddit and stuff takes me out of context and they all hate me there because I'm so negative, even though I've been one of the most consistently supportive people on the channel or on YouTube for Gotham Knights. So that was a little tangent, but if you want to comment to that, Jay, you can. But what do you think about the game as of now, a month before?
Well, I think that first off, you can't bother with Reddit or Twitter.
That's true.
What they think. No, that's not a disrespect to all the good people on there, but people very much will hive mind on all these different places. You even see Redditors call it out and be like, hey, listen, I said something very tame here, and people just downvoted me because they want to like thing X, and I just said one negative thing. So I think that with any social media, there's sadly a lot of ignoring of it you have to do. I will say I think the things that have been said about you before are unfair. You're not a negative person. You're far more positive than I am. And I will say that with this game, that's true too. I still am in the camp of frustration on certain things.
Okay.
I still think that this never should have been its own thing. Even if this comes out and is good, I will stand by that. I don't think this should have been its own thing. Why are we bothering with Suicide Squad being connected to Arkham, but not this? This literally starts essentially with the Nightfall Protocol, where you have, the mansion blowing up. I understand it's under a different circumstance and everything, but this really comes off like they wanted it originally to be tied to Arkham Knight. And I've always said, why not do what you can't do? Well, I guess what studios struggle to do with movies. Studios struggle to make connected continuities that are good. why not make connected continuities with games that are good? Like, why not do that with this game, just going into it from the core design aspect, even if it is great? Now, I will say that over time, I've loosened up on that and not cared as much. I'm still interested in playing it. I still want it to be good. I have my issues with some of the design still. Like, I still think Tim Drake looks way too much like Damian Wayne. I still think that for some reason, Jason in costume as Red Hood looks great, but out of costume, he looks like he's supposed to be an offshoot of the Hulk. Like, I don't know why he's doing bodybuilding with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and what's going on with that design. There's stuff that I don't get, though, like gimmicks with Jason using magic jumping through the air and stuff to get around. I guess I'm in a weird position where with this game, I want it to be good. I hope it is good, but the things that I've seen about it so far haven't floored me. Like, really, none of them have floored me, and none of the interviews have floored me either.
Well, that's the interesting thing with this game, where it's like, for as much as I fully believe this, like, I call my shots on it when I've seen bad things. One of the worst things I've seen in this game is, you mentioned like the traversing the world, let's say. Robin's teleporting, I think, is almost game breaking. I think it's so bad, it's actually unbelievable. And that, I don't know if you've seen it, where like you literally will you become invisible, and you'll like zoom out, the camera will zoom out, and you get to like teleport to a new coordinate, and you have like a time limit because it's it's like an ability. I think that breaks the fluid nature of the game so badly. I know people have problems, with Red Hood jumping on, like the magic, whatever. Like, that's kind of odd too, but to me, like, that the teleporting thing is really bad. So, but that's kind of why I kind of work it into my overall like pitch, where it's like I do think there will be bad things like that, and then maybe there's gonna be, and maybe those ruin it. That's a thing, I don't oftentimes say. I mean, there could be really bad things that just ruin the entire experience, and the good things aren't enough. But what I was getting at is a thing that I still find super interesting about this game, and I want, you can speak to this too, is, and I've made a video on this specifically, it's incredible. I don't say it from like a negative or positive perspective. Because it's DC and because it's not what everybody wanted at the beginning, there is like the people that still talk about this game, and in that group there are positive people and negative people, and people in the middle that are fair, and then there could be strictly negative people that are only like that. But you also have a group that is outside of it that will only talk about it in terms of just how awful like a decision it was. So again, I'm not saying like that's a bad thing or a good. Well, it's a bad thing for WB Montreal. I think it's a bad thing for like the industry in that way. But I find it super interesting that it's one of the, at least for me, it's one of the only games and franchises that I've ever covered where you just have this kind of fighting. Basically, it's fighting between people who want to like it and don't like it, that are actually like invested. And then you also have people, I get comments on every single Gotham Knights video I make, and I make a couple a week, and people will say like, yeah, I was never in from the beginning, I'm still not getting it, like I was never, you know what I mean? Like, you have those people that are so outside of it that maybe would have been customers if it was some other thing, and they talk about it too. I just don't, I don't know if that happens. Like Uncharted, like there's people that maybe like things about it, don't like things, but if you're so violently against it, which I'm not saying is a wrong thing to be, you normally just don't even hear them talk about it, right? Like, if at least for me, I don't see people that they live their lives just telling people that it's still a bad idea Uncharted continues. You don't really see that. And I'm not picking on those people. It's fine if you have that opinion. I'm saying it's interesting that happens for Gotham Knights, that there's people that still hang around. They're not invested literally at all, but they're still around just to say like, hey, I was hoping for an Arkham game and this isn't it, and I wasn't going to be part of it 2 years ago. I'm still not part of it now. So, you've made video, like, have you seen that kind of stuff? Like, what's your take on that?
I'm in both camps. I'm in the same camp as you. I want this game to be good. I'm going to play it, actually. I am going to play it. Now, I bought Jill an Xbox Series X. God. Originally I was going to get it on PS5. Now I'm thinking it would be a really fun co-op Let's Play with Jill and I, on my Degenerate Plays channel. To play this game together with her. I love Batgirl. It was either going to be Batgirl or Red Hood as my main, but Jill is just the biggest Batgirl, diehard. So like, I'm sure it would be me as Red Hood and her as Batgirl or something like that. But in general, I'm in both camps in general, so I can understand what people are saying about that. I feel like I'm Jensen Ackles talking about the Supernatural ending where he's like, "Oh, I didn't like it either, but I do like it." I'm there with this game where I'm like, I'm not invested, but I am, because it's a weird situation where the reason you have that, it would be the same thing. This is an example we've talked about before with you, and I kind of want to see your opinion on it because I know what it is, but I want people to hear it. Remember when they did the thing with Pirates of the Caribbean, and the rumor was there were two movies. There was another sequel in the timeline in development, and there was a total reboot for a new timeline, and they were working on both at the same time. Like scripts for both was kind of the rumor, and that they might both actually come out to kind of test the waters on, hey, can we continue this or end it, but also let's start a new thing. And I kind of want, I guess to kind of, I guess, compare that. I should let you talk about this for a minute, but I remember you had strong feelings about that I think people are in the same position with this exactly, because you have a Suicide Squad game that looks nothing like Arkham, that's supposed to be in the timeline now, continuing it. And then the Superman game had never materialized. People waited forever for that, or Justice League. And now you have Gotham Knights, which almost seems like a weird offshoot reboot from Arkham.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. And like it's like I get those people, like the people that say it. I've never been mean to them. I've always respected them. I respected people back in the day, DC fandom, and then how they did that detective thing for like a week before DC fandom. I remember people saying, or even when they announced it, being like, I'm out. Like, I'm literally done. Seeing that first trailer, I'm out. I respect that you're still talking. I literally have people say that. I respect you're still talking about it, but I'm done. And it's like, I've just never seen that before. Like you said, maybe I've like inadvertently, or I will put myself into that kind of thing for Pirates if they ever actually make a Pirates movie. So I can see it. I can understand it. I am different. It's actually kind of cool. That's why I like having you on and just other people in general, because I think are actually kind of different. Like, I am firmly just in the camp of I'm totally fine with it. It's not what I would have done. It's absolutely not. But I'm fine with it, and I don't, even with like the Batman Dead thing, I wouldn't hold it over them personally. If it's a bad story, I'll hold the story, but but also I'm not that big into DC fandom, I guess, compared to maybe others, right? So I'm not like a fraud, but I'm not, super invested as much as other people are. So
Alex Expo is not a big enough fan. He loves Image Comics, not Marvel or DC.
I've already been I've been exposed for Harry Potter. I've been exposed for a lot of things, but no, I mean that's where I stand. I mean, I am factually excited for this game. I want to see it do well. I hope for their sake, like, and I don't ever try to say that too in a mean way, but like, I think they need this. I mean, this is a company that hasn't done anything, and they have. It's just been canceled. 9 years. A lot of the people here now really have come over the last 4 years. We've kind of heard that a lot of the team that's making this game last 4 years is when they've done it. So most of the team of Origins is not there. And again, this is a studio that they just put money into. And although other teams have done well and had games that sell well, these guys have done absolutely nothing. They've had the lights been on and the computer's been running for 9 years, and they've made no money back from, what I mean? So, and I guess that's probably very harsh, but I think it deserves to be harsh because these guys need this game to at least be successful, whether it's bad or good. They need it to sell. I would say 4, 5, 6 million is probably what they're, I would imagine that's what they're hoping for at the least. And I hope they get it because they seem like nice people, from everything I've seen. So
I have nothing against and I want to just throw this out there too. Despite some of my criticisms, and this, but to everyone else, I have nothing against the developers themselves. It's not even the developers who made these decisions. It's higher ups. Developers pitch stuff, creative heads pitch stuff, but really like the highest up creative heads and the executives are the ones that are always to blame for problems. That's just really what it is. They're the managers and the owners and stuff like that. And when you have those people going odd directions, to me it's frustrating because I know 100% in my heart of hearts that there was a lot of different pathways that could have been taken that I would have rather seen. Now, I will also admit that bias of knowing that does not mean this game will be bad. And that's why I still plan to buy it. I think a lot of times when I'm negative about aspects of it, people, they dog on that, but it's like, you got to realize I'm still paying money for this. I'm buying this when it comes out. I'm going to play through it.
Yeah.
I plan to play through it on my channel. So, in fact, I'm buying 2 copies. I'm a bigger fan than you. No, I'm just kidding. So, it's one of those things where, to me, it's interesting. There are some weird things though around it too, even with pre-order bonuses. Like I wouldn't have made those classic looking outfits a pre-order bonus. I just wouldn't have done that. That kind of stuff. I think that it just all it does is go to make more bad will instead of goodwill with your consumer base that's already frustrated and already confused. And I still see people, I get comments now, right now. I got one the other day about how this game is in the Arkham timeline.
Yeah.
So, like, no matter how much they clarify it, there will be that misunderstanding, and who can blame them? Like, why? I know, yes, they should just go look up a video or whatever, but a lot of people, they're not that deep into it. They just like playing video games.
Yeah.
So for them, why should they have to do a research paper to figure out where this is set, what the deal is, and even Batman being dead? I'm going to say spoiler alert for a 7-year-old game, almost 8-year-old game at this point with Arkham Knight. You know, the game ending with Batman being dead, and I do air quotations there because he's obviously not dead, really. And then this game starting with Batman is dead. It's just one of those things to me. It's like, why'd you make that decision? And why kill a Batman we don't know? Like, let's be honest. Most people aren't going to go buy the prequel comics because there are some that are coming out.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy those. They're not going to read them. You know, for gamers, oh, that's their fault. Is it? Should they have to like go engage in supplementary material to enjoy your game? So then you have them going in and a Batman is dead that they don't even care about. We've never met this Batman. It doesn't matter if he's dead. It's not like a character that we grew up with and all of a sudden he's gone and what do we do? You know, that's not the situation. This is a different continuity Batman. He's been through different experiences. He's probably a different person than the Arkham one or the Batman animated series one or whatever. And I think that with some of that stuff, there's, like you said, there is a lot of reasonable annoyance. And I think that when you have a character as big as Batman, that's probably why you're still seeing that. It's probably why you even hear a little bit of it in my voice, is because people are so deeply invested in the legacy of that character and the interesting parts of it that it's very hard to move on from that. And maybe that's partially on me or on the fans or whatever, I don't know. But I also think that they have a lot of good points with it. And, you know, to answer your question with something positive, because I feel like I was only negative, which I wasn't trying to do. I think that I'm excited for the gameplay. I originally wasn't with how Nightwing was showing up and stuff, but the more recent gameplay footage has seemed more refined to me. So I'm interested to see that. I like the cosmetics. I like the different stuff with the characters. I enjoy what they're going for with the world. I like the classic design of stuff, the inclusion of the Court of Owls. I've been asking for that in mainstream stuff forever. So that kind of stuff I'm very into, but I also feel like I would be lying if I said I didn't have some problems and concerns with the game. It's such a mixed bag for me before release, and it's so odd to me that this is also the one game where the same people I've seen complain about other games before they come out in my comments are also like, Jay, you can't judge this game before it's out. It's not out yet. You can't judge it. And it's like, but you're judging that game. I can read all your past comments. I can click on your name and see the last 10 things you said about something that hasn't come out. Like, so it'll be the same people will be like, Jay, you can't be so hard on Gotham Knights. You have to wait. It's not out. But then I'm talking about Assassin's Creed Mirage, and some of those exact same people are like, I can't believe you expect this to be good. It's going to be bad. It's like, well, what happened to that?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot of people have an emotional investment where they're willing to flip-flop their position, but then try and catch you on yours. I think that's what happened to you on Reddit.
That's a good catch. That's a really good catch. I've seen that happen too. I actually don't ever put too much thought into it, but now that I know that little trick, yeah, because I see that happen actually all the time with me too. Well, let us know in the comments, guys, your thoughts of Gotham Knights. Again, this will be the first part of many different videos I'm going to be doing on the game. And boy, we have a busy and fun 1 month ahead. Make sure you guys, of course, are subscribed to Jay's channel. The link's in the description. Obviously, make sure you guys are supporting in some way here. Hit the like button, subscribe, do whatever you please. Jay, thank you so much for being here.
Hey man, thanks for having me. My mic wasn't turning on. But you know, in conclusion with my unprofessionalism there, I do want to say I don't hate the game. I want it to be good. You know this, but just as a final recap, I want to enjoy it and have fun with it, and I hope to be very pleasantly surprised. When I first played Arkham Asylum, I expected nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a good thing that I'm almost in that same position with this game, because that ended up blowing me away, and maybe they knew that setting up a sequel would have been expecting the world. I don't know. So I'm interested to see what happens. If it's bad, that's unfortunate. If it's great, I'm ecstatic, and I would love to be proven wrong on my here's what I would have done instead. I still would have done it instead. You're not changing my mind on that, but I'd love them to come out and blow it out of the water. So I hope that happens. I appreciate you having me here today.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.